YouTuber Yavon thinks her apartment is haunted. Posted in January of 2018, Yavon writes that she heard a clanking noise in her home and turned on the camera to try to capture the noise. She notes in the video description, "Our cabinets are brand new, no way for any rodent to get in. Also, they are the kind that don't swing shut on their own. You have to physically close them." The short clip shows a shot of her kitchen, assumedly from where the sound was coming. After a moment, a large clattering is heard as a cupboard opens of its own accord, and something from inside falls to the floor.
Oh my god.
This isn't the first case of odd happenings in the home. According to Yavon, strange occurrences have been going on for a while. What do you think? Is it time to move? A highway patrol building in Truckee, California was unprepared for one of the scariest moments ever caught on CCTV, a surprise bear inspection. The animal gets up to look inside and pushes down on the extra large doorknob. It looks like an act of sheer luck, but then it knows to pull the door towards itself to get inside, which is just creepy beyond belief. You can see from its reflection of the window that this bear gets pretty far into the station. Approximately 29 seconds pass before it's spotted and chased. The curious critter nudges open the door to get away from two officers, and there really isn't much they can do except clear the parking lot and probably call wildlife authorities. The way this bear can open doors so easily seems well practiced, and makes me wonder how many different human houses it's visited. Hopefully they catch it soon and relocate it someplace far away. Labyrinth. Imagine something is chasing you through a maze, only you cannot see it. One of my favorite paranormal teams, Joe and Elliot of Ghost Theory, investigates this poltergeist labyrinth, a house full of sound and fury. Upon first entering, they start hearing noises.
Well, it's from my right, so it's down that way.
Of course it is.
And that just looks haunting.
It does. Hello?
You can hear some creaking, but is it just the house settling, or is someone there? They think it's just the wind until this happens.
Turn my light. Where's my bag?
They start to hear banging around, and then they hear voices.
Is there someone in here with a gun?
You can clearly hear movement in the darkness.
Where's my bag?
They are capturing some cinematics before leaving when some of the loudest activity occurs. There's some conflicting thoughts about this video in the comments. Some believe that all the noises you're hearing are poltergeist activity. Others think there were intruders on site. Either way, my fear is running hot on this one. Number 20. A woman by the name of Cecilia Carasso in Chile strode past the reception desk at a law office in 2015 when she was attacked by something invisible. As you watch the CCTV video, Cecilia is strolling with a young woman towards the reception desk when she reportedly felt something push her with such force that it caused her to fall backwards hard. You can see Cecilia chatting with the woman and gesturing at something when suddenly, out of nowhere, she falls flat on her back. She doesn't just slip, she absolutely appears as though she was pushed. I wasn't aware of anyone in front of me as I passed the reception desk talking to a girl, and as I looked up towards the receptionist, I suddenly felt two pairs of hands shove me over. Cecilia said, She later added, "I hit the floor, and when I looked up, I couldn't see anybody, and I thought they must have run off." When Cecilia asked the receptionist who had pushed her, she was told that nobody had. Cecilia didn't believe the receptionist until she was shown footage of the incident. After seeing it, she was sure that she had been the victim of a ghost attack since there was absolutely nobody around her. Cecilia's doctors reported that her injuries were consistent with a fall, but that she'd also received a large blow to the head, which may have caused confusion about what she felt and about her injuries, but that doesn't explain what happened in this creepy CCTV footage. A man makes his way down the street without any clue as to the danger that's about to come straight his way. Everything looks as ordinary as possible, just another day on Stoke Newington High Street in London. There's no possible way you can predict what's going to happen next in this video. It's way too random, so even if you can tell me what direction the thread is about to come from, then I will be satisfied. He makes it past this cafe at 10 seconds, and literally 1 second later the entire roof comes tumbling down in a choking cloud of dust and jagged debris. Bricks litter the street just a few steps from where he just was. If he had done anything besides walk on by, like tying his shoes or looking in the window, then he would have been struck down on the spot with no hope of surviving. I mean, it really couldn't get any closer. The heel of his foot is literally still in the shot as the bricks begin to tumble. Only a psychic could have ever guessed the way this video ends. Why do some people gotta do such creepy stuff? TikToker Unpopular Notes captured this creep creeping outside someone's house. In 2018, this woman kept hearing strange sounds outside of her bedroom window. It had been going on for 3 weeks, so naturally, she set up a security camera. This is what she found. She captured the stalker peering into her bedroom window. When he spotted the security camera, he quickly left but returned to take it. It's unclear if this guy was ever captured, but I think I'd be installing another camera, or 6. This scary home CCTV video shows why you should never leave your cooking unattended. In less than a minute, their entire countertop is covered in flames. The wife makes the mistake of trying to grab the flaming pot barehanded to put it in the oven and only sends a cascade of flames to the floor. But it's the husband who makes the ultimate mistake. He throws water on the flames, which is not what you do in a grease fire, because this only makes the grease splash and spread the flames around. Everyone is okay and the fire goes out, but this method could have seriously burnt the house down. From what I've read, he could have put something large over the fire. Smothering it deprives the flames of oxygen and makes them go out. That fire was already really big though, so I don't know what he could have covered it with. To me, this video is a good example of why you should always have a fire extinguisher somewhere in your house, and make sure you have it inspected from time to time to make sure it works. When something terrifying like this happens and you need it most. This next video, made to raise awareness, is supposed to replicate voices in your head. Among the many visual and audio delusions is one in particular that really gets to me, a girl with no eyes who appears at random. The girl with no eyes is apparently very common and reported by many. The following scene is an example of how she usually comes to them, or rather for them.
She is here.
Nowhere is safe from the girl with no eyes, because once she is in your mind, there's nowhere to hide. This is what it's supposed to be like when she finds you. No one knows why so many people have reported seeing the exact same figure. Maybe it's a subconscious manifestation of a common fear we all have. Or maybe it's some type of possession that's driving people to madness. If this video is just a simulation, then I can only imagine how terrifying the real thing must be face to face. Sisters. A horrifying event happened in this home. 3 sisters all had their lives taken here, and ever since, it has been abandoned and haunted. YouTube team Ming's Paranormal investigates the abandoned house. One YouTuber hears a whistle during the home tour. Did you hear it? Here it is again. In another instance, this mysterious orb descends from above, disappearing halfway across the screen. That doesn't look like your average dust particle. Do the souls of the 3 sisters still linger in this abandoned house? I definitely think the team should spend more time here to see if they can make further contact. But personally, I don't think I'd have the guts to step foot in this place. Number 3. You've never heard of the Rake? You're about to. YouTuber Apex TV notes that this clip was caught in a Mexican park, writing, "Many claim the strange creature is a legendary creature known as the Rake." Now what's the Rake, you ask? Described as humanoid-like in appearance, the legendary creature is said to go after humans and other animals for no known reason, and is cited as a possible proxy to the mysterious tall and skinny woodland lurker. According to records, the first account of a Rake, in which the writer uses the creature's name, appears in a 1691 mariner's log. The next written description appears in the 1800s, charging the Rake with being absolutely terrifying with hollow black eyes. After hearing of these accounts and descriptions of the forest creature, does this mysterious figure atop the playground appear to be the Rake to you? Or do you believe it's something else? If so, what? Published to YouTube by In Jamaica in August of 2017, this big almost catch occurred at the Hellshire Bridge. The camera approaches a large gathering of onlookers surrounding the bridge in question, where cars have pulled to the side of the road to watch the big event. 2 young men have managed to nab the Croc by the snout using a length of rope. The crowd cheers as the crocodile thrashes about and soon escapes his captors. They try again, throwing the rope into the murky water. After a few failed attempts to recapture it, they give up and the crowd disperses. Many in the comments below blame the lack of catch on the crowd, saying they're making too much noise and scaring the Croc away. Perhaps they're right, but if you knew this monster was lurking below, could you suppress your fear? There's a demon in the cellar in this video from Dark Ghost Paranormal. As Dennis is peering into a stone storage cellar, he first hears its moan. Back in the house, some terrifying sounds start to reverberate through his radio. And then Dennis is confronted by something unseen. After that terrifying instance, this happens. Then whole pieces of furniture start to move. And it doesn't stop there. After Dennis tries to get out of there, he goes to pick up something off the ground. That's when all heck breaks loose. Later, Dennis leaves an infrared camera inside the house and heads outside. This is what he captures. Then this happens. You can literally see the demon on camera moving the crib and then breaking the wardrobe doors. What is this evil? All I know is, it's not something I'd want to encounter face to face. While being given a tour of a haunted house, this lady saw the haunting with her very eyes, watched the dark doorway behind the group,
What? Oh my God. What, Emily?
Are you alright?
What's wrong?
Are you alright?
The cameraman apparently didn't see the ghost at the time. Only the lady to the left saw it.
And the door was slammed shut.
What?
Oh my
She later has a panic attack, describing what she witnessed.
No, I saw it.
Are you alright?
No, there was a girl in a blue dress walking towards us from that room.
Which room?
Do you see it? I certainly do. It's one of those things that's got everyone talking. Does this sink need a plumber or a priest? Watch this video and tell me if this paranormal activity is real or just a creepy plumbing problem. There's no motion sensor on this sink, and yet the water somehow turns off on its own, like someone is standing right there. I want to know if this workplace bathroom is as haunted as Tom Cunnington claims. I did some research online, and it looks like it might just need a valve replacement, but I was hoping someone with plumbing experience could tell me if this was the case. If so, hopefully we can put Tom's mind at ease, because I think these scary moments caught on camera have been really freaking him out. Weirded out. Is this a random draft or something much more concerning? Whatever it is, Redditor LFUCULOKINASE is weirded out enough that they keep having to lock their door. Take a look. Did something just come upstairs? This has got to be the creepiest stairway I've ever laid eyes on. I would stay far away. I'm pretty sure it descends to the fiery depths below. Number 4. A large rat finds itself trapped in what looks to be the corner of a kitchen. It appears to be at the mercy of the man recording, who, to be fair, seems to want to cause it no harm to begin with. But as Marcus Goodiron zooms out, you can see to your horror that this is not in a kitchen at all, nor is it on the floor. I guess a large rat climbing your wall isn't exactly the happiest of endings, but it is most definitely unexpected, not to mention a good reason to give the walls a good scrub down. Even dogs have the sense to beware of this spirit. Published by Scary Desk in January of 2022, a security camera captured 2 dogs in an alleyway, acting suspicious. The dogs are seen watching something as of yet unseen. They then start to move away down the alley, looking over their shoulders. That's when the camera captures this shadow figure moving down the alley. The figure is distorted at first, but then becomes more human in form as it moves down the pike. Still, the figure is not solid, but a semi-transparent shadow. Some in the comments think the video has been manipulated, while others say they've seen ghosts like this and believe the footage is authentic. Whatever the case, the dogs definitely see the figure, or sense that it's there. What do you think? I think something mysterious is going on here. The roads in Guwahati, India are apparently haunted. Just ask Abhinash Kishore, aka the Mind Hunter. He pulls up behind a vehicle with an extreme background story that I'll get into in just a second. First, try to translate what he says about this truck, and then I'll tell you what I was able to research.
Guys, ঘুৰি থাকোতে থাকোতে ভূত বিচাৰি থাকোতে থাকোতে এইখন সন্মুখত কি গাড়ী দেখা পাইছে নে ৰব ভালকে দেখুৱাই দি আছো গাড়ীখন অলপ আগুৱাই দিয়া
Okay, so get this. I did some deep digging and found out that this truck is actually the only hearse service offered in the area. Before this company came to be, people used to carry the departed to the nearest graveyard. As an extra bonus, on this blog post, I found information on 3 extremely creepy but also saddening comments requesting the service as soon as possible. That means within this metal container could be someone passed away. So when he finds not 1, but 2 of these vehicles lined up in the middle of nowhere, he knows that something really bad must have happened, and he better not stick around for long. Unfortunately for him, the time to leave safely has already passed.
Stop.
The Mindhunter's assistant gets scared and drives off, but the Mindhunter will have none of it and makes him return. There is another brief sighting until the figure fades away into darkness. This alleged ghost sighting caught on video could simply be a 3rd member of the group, but since it happens not far from where they found the abandoned vehicles that could have had passed away people inside, it could be real. In July of 2015, the student paranormal investigation team caught some inexplicably strange and mysterious activity on camera while exploring the Yorktown Memorial Hospital in Texas.
Yeah, that's scary.
Especially when it's there.
How did we not see this when we were down here? See? That's what
We didn't come this way.
What? Oh, cars.
At 40 seconds, they see a large eye of a mysterious figure high in the doorway that retreats as soon as they turn around. They face the entrance to this dark room. The camera blurs, a sign that something paranormal is near. More mysterious things happen when they go exploring inside of this place in the abandoned haunted Yorktown Memorial Hospital.
No way. No way. No way, dude. There's no wind in here. Is that you moving the ball? That can't be.
In the windowless room, a ghostly presence seems to make itself known. Then the ball stops moving. The camera blurs again, and the strangeness ramps up further.
That can't be. Was it even in the center, like? You hear that? Is that ball still moving? It stopped. Look at that. You see that?
More paranormal activity is caught on their camera. Scary sounds in the next room. They try to get more evidence, but it seems whatever paranormal forces were in this room are done freaking them out for the night. The student paranormal investigation team cannot explain what in the video could make the ball move besides a ghost. They swear there was no draft in that strange and mysterious hospital room. This isn't a gentle good morning. Published to YouTube by C4CAT in March of 2018. This is what happens when an early bird of a ghost is angry that you're not up yet. The video shows a man asleep in bed as window curtains nearly blow, at times pushing the entire curtain to the side. The young man at first remains undisturbed by this. At one point when the curtain is brushed over, you can see something white appear behind the bars of the window. Then an obscure flash of white passes close to the camera. Shortly after, there's a slow disturbance in the man's blanket. Part of it lifts until the entire blanket billows up. It's then ripped off of him by an unseen force. Like a bucket of cold water, this is one alarm clock you wouldn't want to wake up to. A YouTuber called Douglas Cash stands at the entrance of these caves in the Bahamas. The stunning scenery grows less colorful and more claustrophobic as he takes a few hesitant steps inside. Soon he finds himself staring down a tunnel that looks barely large enough to support a human when a wild shriek fills his ears. Listen to this and tell me what it could possibly be, animal or otherwise.
Boy, you know I ain't going down yet, right?
Whatever it is, it sounds about medium-sized, but vicious enough to tear your throat out if given the chance. Even Douglas doesn't seem to recognize the menacing noise and decides not to go any deeper. But since he did come all the way out to this area by foot to do some exploring, he decides to hang around the cave entrance for just a bit longer. After all, it's brighter here, and he doubts whatever he heard is going to come out of the darkness. He explores for another 2 minutes or so, studying the natural rock formations and whatnot, and then decides to call it a day. But unknown to him, looking back at him from the darkness are two glowing eyes that quickly disappear, and if you listen closely, you can hear some kind of chittering language that could indicate a certain level of intelligence. A YouTuber named the Maniac sets out with his cousin to explore the back roads of Maine. Within 5 minutes, a vehicle pulls up and somebody gets out while pointing at the ground. He doesn't identify himself and he certainly isn't a police officer, so I think the Maniac was in the right to try and get away. I will admit that they were going pretty fast earlier, so maybe that's why this person was so upset. Anyway, approximately 2 minutes later, they see him again, but he is already turning with a car behind him and unable to swing back around. This time, the Maniac speeds by him for a final look, and sure enough, the man is wearing the same gray shirt and watch as before. The Maniac speeds off again before the man has a chance to get out of his car and try and make another attempt to stop him. Amber sees a ghost on TikTok while using a new ghost hunting tool called Reality Ripple. It's a TikTok filter that creates psychedelic colors around people and the paranormal as well. Soon, colors flash when no one is there, and it looks like a ghost is in the hall with Amber and her friend. It happens for a few seconds and then it's gone, or so they think. A part of the corner remains an odd color and stays with them like a ghost is lingering nearby.
What was that?
It's right there. You can see it in the corner. Oh my God. Right there. Do you see it?
Yes, bitch.
Okay, we're in your piece.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here.
Sometime later, Amber is by herself when a passing chill leaves her legs freezing cold. She opens TikTok and when she looks up, a wave of energy ripples through her and registers on the chair as a shadow person.
It feels like my leg is ice cold right now. Like I already got up earlier because it felt like something was like ice cold laying on my legs.
Not only do I see the legs, but I can see the head and maybe even a scary face too.
I cannot.
The world's oceans hold both wonders and terrors. People got a glimpse of an example of such mysteries on November 11th, 2007, 7,800 feet down the Gulf of Mexico. The Perdido oil drilling site sent a camera down for a routine inspection when it caught something unexpected. A bizarre creature swam only a few feet away from the rig, sporting unfathomable features. By far the most eye-catching of them were its long tentacles reaching far down below its body. It almost appears to be looking right at the camera, staring and observing just as being observed. Many commenters have likened it to an alien, with some even joking it is an offspring of Cthulhu. The truth is, thankfully, more simple and far less scary. What was actually filmed is known as a big fin squid, a relatively newly discovered species. It was first documented in September 1988 off the coast of Brazil. Due to the depth at which it lives, sightings are rare, and there is still much about it left to be discovered. In fact, it is still unknown how these animals feed, but it is believed they use their long tentacles to drag against the seafloor to catch organisms to feed off. It is also believed they wait for small plankton to bump into them to eat. Such creatures make stories of sea monsters from folklore make much more sense. For centuries, the idea of the giant squid was a myth until it was proven as a real species, with larger, colossal squid also discovered. With an estimated 80% of the ocean left unexplored, there's bound to be thousands or millions more discoveries of all sorts of odd yet magnificent species out there. While exploring Liverpool's most haunted hotel, the Adelphie, Jess and Ellie get the feeling they're not alone. Many have seen and heard strange things inside the haunted hotel, which was built in 1826 before being replaced in 1911. Wealthy passengers would stay here before embarking on their cruise liner journey to North America. Many famous people from Sinatra to Bob Dylan to Roosevelt and Churchill have also been guests. But it's the passed on that call this place home. Published in January of 2022, Jess and Ellie wander through the historic hotel with its ballroom and haunted hallways. They check themselves into the purportedly haunted room 179. When they break out the spirit box, they realize the ghosts here are quite aggressive.
That just said you. That just said you.
Then they ask if the spirit wants them to leave or stay, and they're given a clear answer.
Do you want us to stay? Jess is the same voice. It is. I'm getting...
The ladies did end up leaving that night. I'd be too freaked out to stay in the Adelphie a minute longer either. Jack Cook's son Michael has been acting strange for days, not like himself at all. He is normally a happy child, but he is visibly agitated during his birthday and seems to channel all of his anger into a single act of defiance when it comes time to blow out the candles.
Day to you. Michael, make a wish. Cheer up, big guy, cheer up.
His father can't believe what he just witnessed and orders his son to do it again. Sure enough, Michael somehow is controlling the flames with his mind. The obvious answer is somebody is blowing out the candles off camera, but I don't hear anything. Watch the father's explanation and tell me if you think his emotions are real or simply good acting skills.
It's been a week now since Michael went into the hospital. And doctors don't know what's wrong with him.
This giant sky disturbance over Japan was captured on multiple cameras in 2013. So there's little doubt that it is real. The question then becomes not if this happened, but rather what caused it. I think that this was most likely a comet, but others claim this is clearly a failed Russian rocket launch or even a UFO. Watch this part and you can see how the comet becomes very bright as it hits Earth's atmosphere and then fizzles out quickly. At the same time, I can definitely see how people would think this was a UFO blasting into deep space, or a rocket disintegrating. It does seem to kind of disappear without warning, so let me know which of these three possibilities you think it was. The adventurer Abdullah Al-Anbari goes exploring an abandoned building in Saudi Arabia in search of a poltergeist, or a Jinn as it's referred to in the area. There are many floors to explore and each one holds horrors of its own. He turns around to see a mysterious figure that could be a Jinn or more likely the shadow of the banister in front of it. He continues to explore and the paranormal activity continues to stay one step ahead of him. The ghost keeps throwing objects at him, guiding him in a way towards a final confrontation that he is not ready to witness. He looks up in time to capture a glimpse of a scary round face peering down at him. Tell me what he says to it on his way out. Whatever he says seems to cause him much anger based on what happens next. He quickly leaves before the spirit becomes any more upset. It's 6 in the morning, and a YouTuber named Sheezy is about to go home after a long shift at the hospital. All he needs to do is return this 1-ton X-ray machine and then clock out. Unfortunately for him, the elevator gets stuck on the 5th floor and suddenly drops to the 1st floor without warning. It happens so fast that the floor numbers don't even register until the very end, but it's not over yet. The elevator rushes from the ground floor to the 5th floor, ready to drop again, and if that X-ray machine slides back and pins him against the wall, it wouldn't matter if he's at a hospital or not, because it's going to flatten him in seconds. This time, he hits the emergency stop before he can drop again. After a minute and a half, engineers rush to get him out of there. Real Victoria is woken up by her cat hissing at something it sees in the bedroom window. The cat goes quiet when she starts recording, but it's definitely focused on some activity outside. She says this creepy looking character was looking in through her window, and he very well may have been, but at 4 seconds he also seems to be looking up and trying to get the attention of someone in the room above him. In fact, I think I hear him shout something and whistle loudly at the beginning of this video. What is he saying here? Eventually, he steps away and out of sight. I guess he either saw the camera, or he finally got the attention of someone in the unit above. Whatever he was up to, having a complete stranger anywhere near where you live at 5 in the morning is oddly terrifying. With that said, I do believe her, and I hope Real Victoria stays safe until her lease is up and she can get out of there. An adventurer in India sees something truly chilling.
ये तो वही चुड़ैल है। ये कोई औरत खड़ी हुई है नीचे। हम छत के ऊपर आए हैं कैमरे उतारने के लिए और ये औरत नीचे खड़ी हुई है। भागो इधर से।
He diverts his horrified gaze, and when he looks up, it's gone, but not for long.
ये आप देख सकते हैं। ये कमरे भी आप देख सकते हैं, लॉक किए हुए हैं इन्होंने। ये आप सुन सकते हैं।
Red blotches on the curtains mark where an apparition has touched the cloth. I did not see these handprints here moments before. He goes outside and finds a drastic change of weather, further evidence of displeasing a powerful spirit.
ये आप देख सकते हैं। या आवाज़ें भी आप सुन सकते हैं।
He turns around to go inside for shelter, only to be greeted by the sound of a child's voice through a partially open door.
अभी दोस्तों हम इधर से जा रहे हैं, इंशाल्लाह नेक्स्ट टाइम हम जब आएंगे किसी बुजुर्ग को साथ में लेकर आएंगे।
He wisely decides to wait out the storm outside and does not go back in. I suppose he figures it would be quicker and less scary to chance it with the lightning, rather than return to whatever poltergeist activity is waiting for him there. This dashcam video was supposedly taken near Hanoi, Vietnam, and was posted on Facebook where it spread to the local news. In it, the car soon pulls up to a figure dressed in all white standing in the middle of the road. The drivers are quite concerned that this individual is standing in the middle of a pitch black road, alone besides one street light above. They don't ask the person anything. Instead, they quickly drive away. While many online thought it was a ghost of some kind, news agencies have said that this was a woman who is not mentally well and was possibly attempting to take her own life. Let's hope she got the help she needed before it was too late. Another crew enters the woods, not to make peace with the paranormal there, but to provoke it. Posted on the very spooky video subreddit by Enrique Glue, this crew came across a witch in the woods, and they decide to test her powers. While wandering through the woods, they spotted something creepy to say the least. Far off, amongst the trees and brush, a creepy figure is caught in the spotlight of their torch. The pale figure has long dark hair and is wearing all black. She simply stands there motionless as they set their eyes on her. She watches them as they watch her. They pull their flashlights and camera away, but when they move back toward her, she is still there, watching them. They cast their lights on her for a while. She stays still and silent. They attempt to address her, but she doesn't respond. One of them throws something at the witch. You can tell his aim was on point, as the being instantly falls over. They then run like wild out of the woods. After this encounter, I kinda hope the witch caught up with them. Ghost. Imagine getting a notification on your phone only to find this footage. The YouTube team Haunted Real Estate Investigations shares this video captured on a security camera. The homeowners had just moved in 6 months prior. Granted, the angle at which this footage is taken could allow a whole human to hide just out of sight, but the way the cupboards open and close doesn't really look human to me. Is this family dealing with a hungry ghost? I'd like to see more footage before drawing a conclusion, and until then, if I were the residents of this home, I wouldn't raid the pantry at midnight. Number 50. Do you have the common care to tame a snake? This shocking footage will make you question your own bravery. The video shows a man grabbing a thick snake with his bare hands. The snake looks around 10 feet long and arches toward the man when he pulls back. As the snake appears to be aggressive, the man holds up one arm. He is apparently trying to grab a hold of the snake close to its head, which he manages to do upon his second attempt. He takes the snake with both hands in a tight grip as it opens its mouth wide, baring its fangs. Then, as if with no care in the world, the man walks the snake over to some other workers, who pick up its tail and are taking photos with the beast. The footage ends there, but judging by this man's professionalism, I think we can safely guess the snake was properly removed to a more secure location. It's a shark, it's a duck, it's neither of those things at all. In September of 2017, YouTuber Jack Heath posted this video of an unidentified creature swimming in a river. He asks his audience to weigh in, saying his friends couldn't decide if it is a shark or a duck. The short clip shows a dark river at night, lights reflecting off the water. For a good 20 seconds, you can't see anything at all, although you can hear voices speculating on whether something unseen is a shark or a duck. That is, until this spooky ghost white creature nearly surfaces at the edge of the water.
It's a duck. I'm sorry.
Oh, look, stop squeezing it. That is exactly how it happens. So here it comes.
Doesn't look like a shark or a duck at all. As YouTuber Tweedle notes in the comments, his friends were obviously talking about what caused the wake in the water earlier in the clip, not this unidentified monster that briefly appears up close towards the end. Is a plesiosaurus or something like that. He writes, though they're originally from a time period of many millions of years ago, so are alligators. They're thought to be extinct, but maybe they're not. After all, they wouldn't be the first creature thought to be extinct that's found to be still alive. While this might seem like a good guess, the OP mentions in the comments that the ghastly creature was just an eerily convincing art installation. Whoever thought art could make your heart stop? Here's a question for this video. Human or mutant? Published by Mr. Illusion. I truly hope that this is an illusion. The scary video shows a creature with a very human-like face curled up on the floor. Its body, however, is not human. It's small and extremely hairy with hooved limbs and sharp talons. I wouldn't want to run into this horror in the wild, and I'm pretty sure 83% of people wouldn't either. Only 17% can handle it. Does your workplace have a paranormal whirlpool? Mine neither, but YouTuber Matusis does, and she's captured the crazy anomaly on video. Take a look.
¿Qué será? Parece que alguien lo está haciendo girar.
Sí.
This is a hospital in San Miguel de Tucumán, but what is causing this? At first, I thought perhaps it was a fan or vacuum blowing from above, but when it began to create this strange shape in the foam, I wasn't so sure, but YouTubers in the comments have some theories.
¿Qué será, no? Parece una mano, ¿qué es eso?
Pide ayuda.
Others refute Diego's assessment.
Yo pensé que era una lámpara.
Yo también.
pensé que era, pero...
Viste, está mejor que cuida a mi sobrina.
I agree that it's not sodium or entities, so what is it? A vortex into another world? I think only someone brave enough to dive in could find out. This entry involves a series of videos revealing a web of industrial-looking tunnels that weave beneath the campus of Northern Arizona University. The uploader states that in October of 2018, he only reached the bottom of the stairs but recently decided to venture further. Enclosed Granddad writes, NAU was almost established as an insane asylum back in the mid-1890s, and rumor has it that these tunnels would have been part of that. He shares a link, which notes that the building was first built as a reform school for Arizona's so-called vicious youth. It's unclear why it remained empty for years upon completion. That's when, as Granddad mentioned, an insane asylum was proposed by the territorial legislature. For some reason, that wasn't followed through either. What isn't made clear is this short historical literature is when the tunnels were built and for what purpose. The recorder guides us through the dark tunnels, writing, I came across pathways that I could have potentially crawled, shimmied through, but chose not to because, 1, they seemed a bit dangerously cramped at points, and 2, I didn't want to spend too much time down there. I don't know how much farther these tunnels go until we find out what those tunnels were used for. The mystery may just be enough to haunt you. Warning, if you summon La Llorona, prepare for the worst. While investigating the Hinsdale house, YouTuber Mo Sargi summoned the Weeping Woman, and he lived to regret it. While speaking through a spirit box, he received some answers.
Was there actually an exorcism here? Oh my, that was a yes.
And like an evil, like it was mad.
But the interview is cut short.
Was it a priest?
Behind you, behind you! What? Behind you! Something just f***ing appeared behind you! Something just f***ing appeared behind you!
What?
Like a f***ing mist, like a white mist! Holy f***!
I don't blame him. I'd be done too if I'd just seen La Llorona in the flesh. As we've seen in past videos, animals often see things that we don't, and sometimes that can send chills down our spine. Published to YouTube in January of 2018 by the Bram fam, the video starts out tame as the Bram fam picks up a doghouse from the store. They each go about their day doing various things for the vlog, but once Bramty is home with her daughter, she starts hearing things inside the house. The uploader notes that their dog Milo started acting super spooked, staring in the hallway and outside their balcony. As you can see, the dog appears on high alert, unmoving and staring out into the darkness. He is then captured staring out into the hallway. When Louie finally returns home, Bramty says she finally felt relieved. Do you think this dog was sensing something or someone in the home? Should they, as Bramty suggested, have the house blessed? That way it'd hopefully be cleansed of terror. Back in the 18th century, several dozen witnesses encountered a fabled spectral army on the Cellar Fall in the UK. YouTuber Black Craig camps out here on Midsummer's Eve to see if he can become a modern witness. After keeping watch to no avail, he's walking back to camp to get some sleep when this happens.
Oh, what the There's a block stood next to my tent. What the
I'm dying to know what he saw, or who he saw. Was it the ghost army?
Right there. Finn's is oblivious to me. Man, there's no way I'm staying here tonight. No way.
I'd be out of there too. What living being wants to battle it out with Spectre Warriors? Your odds of winning are next to none. Number 3. A paranormal channel called Gene Ghost Bangladesh goes exploring one of the most haunted abandoned places in his country. An old house in the woods where scary things happen to anyone who dares enter. Scary things like disembodied voices speaking from within. And strange noises coming from where no one is standing. And living vines move across walls. Watch this part and tell me if you think he was passing out from fear or a spiritual encounter. He recovers and they think they see a shadow figure looking around the corner. In front of the house is an all-seeing eye next to a doorway that spontaneously ignites in flames. Across from the flaming archway is this hand-painted altar with 5 candles on each side of a star, and outside could be the red handprint of a recent sacrifice. The drawing of an evil-looking goat-headed creature on 2 legs gives me a sinking feeling, and I really don't like how a large white orb floats into it at 33 minutes and 20 seconds. The flames burn taller when they see this figure on the wall, as if the 2 events are somehow connected. They return to the altar and find creepy dolls have been pierced with steel wire through the head, and that's when... There's a scream and the creepy dolls begin moving on their own while everyone is standing out of the room. They don't zoom in all the way, so maybe it's on a string, or at least I hope so, because if not, then that is some really scary stuff. This video was taken somewhere in South America, and it shows a man sitting on a table at a security monitoring station. Little does he know that he too is apparently being monitored, and not by a camera. After a while, this is what happens to him. Even the people reviewing the footage can't believe what they are seeing. Not only does a nearby chair move on its own, but it also moves in his general direction. It's almost as if the ghost is pulling up a seat directly across from him. Unbelievably, the man doesn't seem to notice this paranormal activity unfolding before him. At least at first. He is looking at his cell phone when suddenly it happens again. This time he sees it, and his reaction seems very legitimate as he becomes startled and tense. He looks behind him to make sure that the security camera is recording all of this for later evidence. Then he hops off the table and stares at the chair before him. Obviously scared now, he waits for it to move again, but it doesn't, so he goes over to inspect it more closely. This is probably the most convincing part of the video, because he would have seen a fishing line if it was a fake prank. Instead, he picks the chair up, puts it back in its place, and then puts a stand in front of it and gets out of there fast. I'm not saying that this video is absolutely 100% real, but it is certainly a possibility. There are some things that make you so nervous you can never unsee them. They remain on the backs of your eyelids when you go to sleep at night. This entry will make you stay out of the forest. Redditor Film Direction wrote, "Aw man, Chills is gonna be all over this in his next video." And he's right, I am. Posted by Rabbit14k, this video of a so-called forest guard was captured in India. The clip shows a vehicle driving at night down a dirt road surrounded by forest. It must be drizzling, as the windshield wipers are moving. Then up ahead in the middle of the road is a figure in white flowing robes. The figure's head is covered, and when we never see its face, as the vehicle backs up, the figure walks slowly and strangely off the path and into the trees. As the vehicle continues to reverse, it disappears, swallowed by the darkness. According to Redditor Vixen Ross, this might be a holy man or woman, as the Sri Sarada Devi wears similar robes to these worn by our forest guard. Others note that it's a bit on the dark side for a midnight stroll, even for a holy man. Did this video make the hair on your legs stand up? Did it give you chills? Did it make your nose start running? And what do you think? Is this human or a demon? Build it and they will come, but maybe you don't really want them to come after all. Published by Grant Kopek in October of 2020, something creepy calls this cornfield home. Captured on a Ring camera, a homeowner is seen walking outside at night on the farm, but appears not to notice the enormous creature escaping from the cornfield in the background. As the man walks past, the large blurred figure moves from the cornfield toward a big garage to the left. It disappears behind some shadow in the background. Many in the comments think this is a ghost or an extraterrestrial, while others think it's simply a reflection from the man's jacket, although it very well could be the latter. YouTuber Master of None offers some great advice for the farmer. Don't sleep ever again. If I lived beside that cornfield, I'd have to say I'd be doing the same thing. Julia Mayfeld gets into a stranger's car and they introduce themselves.
So I guess you got a little business to discuss?
She is interviewing a hitman for hire. They discuss payment, a good date and time, and the target, Jacob, her husband. The conversation becomes increasingly creepy as they get into the finer details of the job.
You don't want him to suffer, so I'll make it quick and clean. Perfect. I mean, I can do it any way you want me to, but I just want to know how you want it done.
Really, whatever's easiest. If you can get him outside, that would be great. Because it would be messy in the house.
They later have a second meeting finalizing the plan. After showing the hitman a picture of the target, Julia starts talking about why she is having this done.
As terrible as it sounds, it was easier than divorcing him. You know, I didn't have to worry about the judgment of my family. I didn't have to worry about breaking his heart. Stuff like this. It's like kind of like a clean getaway. I mean, it's going to be...
I'm just going to take him head on there and I'm going to shoot him right in the face.
Okay.
Little does Julia know that she is actually talking to an undercover officer, and these two videos contain all the evidence they need to put her away. The judge gave Julia a sentence of between 5 and 20 years. Let me know if you agree with this decision or if you would have given a harsher sentence. Posted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Sallow Mac and originally published to YouTube by Bike Jinn in March of 2020. This paranormal investigator may have just crossed paths with something very nefarious. While exploring an abandoned house, the investigator spies this creepy witchy woman in the hallway. Flames suddenly spark, running down the length of the hallway and flying up into the air in the adjacent room. It then falls in a giant blaze to the floor, burning in a ball on the carpet. For a time, the investigator watches the flames burn. It burns low, but then it bursts again, while the door behind it swings closed and then opens repeatedly. Is this a Jinn's doing? Or maybe a witch's? Either way, get the heck out of there. 3 friends know of a haunted abandoned place in Egypt that needs exploring. Little do they know how wrong their paranormal investigation will have gone by the end of that night. Fresh writing on the wall that gives them pause. It might be a warning of sorts or maybe a puzzle. They spend quite some time trying to figure it out and never manage to. What does it say? That's when they think they hear something upstairs, something that can mimic their movements. They go upstairs to confront it and hear a noise at the bottom of the steps where they just were. As they turn around, there's a wall full of handprints marking where people were trying to get away from something. At the bottom are 2 floating white eyes. They are checking out more red handprints when their paranormal investigation somehow gets even creepier. A Jinn's figure fills the doorway on the top floor. They run down the steps fast, and seconds later, the slow-moving figure somehow passes by them again. Well, they are looking up where it was last spotted. With a flip of his scarf, the bravest of all sets forth to the exit and is almost touched. Here is a still image of the Jinn's face taken at 9 minutes and 46 seconds. I think it might be a mask, but what if it's really a weird misshapen face? They say this is real. Should we believe them? 9 out of 10 people do not immediately notice what's wrong with this handshake, so allow me to show you where to look. Trust me, you'll be sorry that I did.
Give me your hand.
I like cake, I just don't like ice. That's my main.
This is someone's right hand, and yet they're on the left side. Also, look at their fingernails. They're facing the wrong way. How can this be? The answer isn't pretty. The condition is called hypermobility. Though the phrase double jointed is commonly used, it's mostly genetic, meaning you are either born with this unusually large range of movement or not. Only 20% of people have it, though typically not to this degree, and there's no way for the rest of us to gain this talent, if you want to call it that, so don't even try to practice. Like most people, watching this video makes me feel like my fingers are going to fall off. Tell me if you would be able to shake the hand of someone with hypermobility while they were doing this. I mean, it's creepy, but also kind of cool. This house, explored by YouTuber Legrand JD, is reputed to be haunted. According to the residents, the security cameras in the kitchen detected motion around midnight and nothing was there. Legrand JD stays overnight in the house and, using his devices, tests the energy of the place. Although nothing is triggered, something eerie happens as he enters the cellar.
Magnifique cave. Avec une porte qui se ferme toute seule.
But this is the only strange event that occurs during the investigator's visit. Neither his EMF meter or his REM pod goes off. Does that mean this place isn't haunted? Or are the spirits simply shy and in hiding? Who knows? But I would keep my pantry under lock and key just to be sure. Some run away from ghosts, others give chase. Posted to the very spooky videos subreddit, this mysterious figure appeared on some railroad tracks, and these kids decided to follow it. In the scary video, the figure in white moves, swaying up ahead. As it tries to escape, the group of children that are following it, they get very close, but it moves faster along. They cross a bridge, but the figure still keeps ahead of them. At some point, many of the kids start crying, and the figure moves off the tracks and down a hill, where it vanishes in the darkness. Many in the comments are saying even if the figure isn't a ghost, it is creepy. And they don't trust it. Do you? I certainly don't. Are you a social media influencer? The next time you're off in your own world, filming your next Twitter phenom, don't look over your shoulder. Posted to YouTube by BTS in May of 2019, this video will haunt you. The Twitter video begins like any other, with its star checking himself out in the camera before taking some film of the passing city scene outside his car window. Looks just like a normal everyday video to brighten everyone's Twitter feed, but as many YouTubers pointed out in the comments of this video, some random shadow appears behind the star's left shoulder. What is this creeping shadow lingering just behind him? Is it something paranormal or just a ghostly fan watching him? Judge for yourself. Either way, it's 100% frightening. A YouTuber from San Antonio, Texas, named Dylan James TV records a deep moan that fills the night sky. Take a listen and give me your best guess as to what this mysterious noise could be.
I hope you can hear that.
After a while, it grows closer and louder until the sound breaks directly overhead, yet nothing is visible. What's especially strange is the comments for this video. Other people from as far as Florida admittedly claim to have heard this exact same noise. Apparently it happens for 5 minutes at a time, at which point it stops as abruptly as it began. A YouTuber named Michael Luzzi returns to Split Rock Road in New Jersey, to a spot where he claims a person once stood behind him and disappeared. Down a creepy old country trail, they see a light that looks like it could be coming from one of their phones or something, except there's a second light way higher up.
Oh, there's a light over there. Yo, what the heck? What is that?
I don't think they belong to a radio tower or any other type of utility service, because approximately 4 seconds later, the lights seem to move to the right of the tree. The eerie phantom lights return at 7 minutes and 45 seconds. Watch this part and give me your best rational explanation as to what this is, because I haven't even a guess. And less than a minute later, they see something way worse than lights, something that sends them running back to the car.
I don't know, that noise is definitely coming from over here somewhere. Also, what the f***?
The faint outline of a person materializes against the dark backdrop of nothingness. They do happen to be hanging out with a third friend, who is wearing dark clothes though, so while it could be him, For some reason, I seriously doubt it. If you like to scrounge for snacks at night, this video will have you second guessing that midnight snack. Posted to Reddit by Better Than Better, the home security footage reveals a dark and seemingly empty kitchen at night. Around 30 seconds in, a man trudges in and opens the fridge to get a snack. While the man is standing at the fridge, drinking something, watch the teddy bear on the kitchen table. It starts moving ever so slightly, bobbing up and down. But that's not all. When the man closes the fridge and turns to leave, the baby walker next to the table does this, confused about whether he saw what he thinks he saw. The man doesn't take his eyes off the baby walker as he leaves the room, but he returns a short time later, his wife by his side, presumably to explain what happened. As he's indicating that the baby walker moved of its own accord, the teddy bear falls over, or rather seems to fly backwards, as the wife jumps out of the room and the man approaches the bear. Two of the chairs tucked under the table spring out simultaneously. If that isn't enough to scare you out of your own home, I don't know what is. I believe dealing with an incident like this is something 99% of people couldn't handle. A family in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania sees something that is so incredible that they have to stop what they are doing and start recording.
There's another spark. You see what I'm saying?
What is that?
Tree?
No. Right there. See it?
Uh-huh.
Strange, shimmering spots appear out of nowhere and seem to float above the meadow and nearby forest floor. For a moment, they think that it could be other people, but whatever they are seeing is floating around everywhere, even in the trees. Many people who watch this video think that these are ghostly soldiers from the Civil War marching in single file lines, just like they did on the day of their demise. Others think that this could be flashlights from hikers, though this really doesn't look like a flashlight to me. I would definitely like to hear what you think is causing this scenario. The Franklin County Old Jail, which was established in 1818, is widely known for being extremely haunted, and usually, it seems that whoever dares to enter finds themselves getting more than they bargained for. A YouTube channel named Paranormal Purgatory decided to venture down into the jail themselves to have a look around the place. The jail is eerily decrepit and worn down, something you'd expect from a 200-year-old building, but just because it's worn down doesn't mean that the place remains uninhabited.
Look at that. That's gonna be.
You see the old rocking horse in there?
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there. Did you hear that?
I heard that too.
There was a whistle.
So next to the bed here, I do kind of see what they're talking about here. If you just focus on the bed, there appears to be just kind of this shadow, and then it almost seems to take off to the right here.
Old rocking horse in there?
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there.
Know what I see.
Go in there. Did you hear that?
Oh, right there. Okay, I now see exactly what they're talking about. So there's going to be a flash of light. So it looks like it's like a head and kind of a torso, and there's that flash of light, and then it looks like it just sort of pops right up. It happens so quickly. I should play this in slow motion. Right here, don't you see that? And then it just pops right up just in the split second that it's shown in the light. Even though the crew behind the channel had only just started to look around the jail, little did they know that they didn't need to look any further for signs of paranormal life, as you can make out what appears to be some sort of shadow figure right next to the bed, which vanishes just as quick as it appears. During the rest of the video, the crew explores the remaining areas of the jail, but are ultimately unable to find any other signs of paranormal activity. Even still though, seeing this shadow figure in person during an investigation would be enough to terrify anybody. These underground tunnels in Manchester, England, were once used to escape air raids in the 1940s. Countless people huddled for their lives down here in mass, and their collective theory is thought to have left a haunting impression ever since. Now a YouTube channel called Dark Arts TV investigates these tunnels to see what he can discover with his own eyes. It isn't long before his blue light shines upon a rail-thin figure standing at a bizarre angle. They are a good distance minutes away, but it looks like they might be wearing baggy trousers and a vest with oversized sleeves, reminiscent of the 40s era. If this is not a ghost to you, then what do you think this is? As he turns the corner, his camera picks up what appears to be a pair of human legs hanging out a small hole in the wall. What's most terrifying is how Dark Arts TV doesn't seem to notice the legs at the time, as if they weren't visible in real life. And to further back this theory, when you pause at 24 minutes and 28 seconds, the beam of his flashlight seems to move through them. Finally, as they prepare to leave, they encounter this shadowy face directly behind them. It doesn't look like a person per se, but rather the fading memory of someone who was present, now doomed to repeat a terrifying moment forever.
Eyebrows, a hairline, the chin. You can even see at the bottom here, if you can just catch the end of my thumb, where I'm covering now, there you can see the line of his neck as his head is bent round the corner.
A doorbell cam video at 3 a.m. has caught some scary moments on tape that people need to see. Watch this and tell me if you think it's real or fake. A ghostly white apparition forms before the camera half a minute before 3 a.m. It looks pretty good at first, but then it kind of looks less real the longer you look at it. If I saw this phantom-like figure outside of my house at 3 a.m. like the uploader says they did, I would be absolutely terrified. A year ago, I briefly touched on the saga of Joseph Chan Sloan, a YouTuber who for years was haunted by a spirit from 2011 to 2014, but I didn't get to cover his whole story. 3 more videos in particular are worth getting into, but first I did some more research and discovered a blog with years worth of updates. Joseph first noticed an apparition within weeks of letting his girlfriend move into his apartment, so I suspect she may have brought something that had attached itself to her. Soon each of them felt constantly watched, especially in the shower of all places, and it got to the point where they both thought they were getting pranked by each other. But one day, as Joseph was taking a shower, he heard his girlfriend come into the bathroom. The topic was already on his mind, so he explained to her that he thought the apartment was haunted, but then the figure on the other side, the one who he thought was his girlfriend, disappeared mid-explanation. From that point on, Joseph began setting up his sole camera in different places to document the spirit, and that's when things ramped up to the next level. On April 16th, 2012, Joseph announces out loud to whatever's listening that he's turning in for the night.
So we're just going to film this area. I had, like I said, my lighting issues were horrible, so I'm leaving some lights on this time. So if there is anything, hopefully we'll catch it. Anyways, guys, have a good night. See you in the morning.
Orb activity begins at 2 minutes and 12 seconds, carries on for about 6 seconds, and then abruptly stops. The kitchen is eerily quiet for over 40 seconds, and then the stovetop burner turns on to its highest setting. This happens out of nowhere at the 3 minutes and 17 seconds mark, but at 3 minutes and 14 seconds, an orb shows up in front of the oven just 3 seconds before it turns on. Could this be the ghost in question caught on camera? Joseph was asleep, so this event could have burned the whole place down if anything was still on the burner, which is maybe what this ghost was trying to do all along. A full 7 months later, on November 28th of that same year, Joseph puts the camera up on a high ledge to show as much of his living room as possible, floor to ceiling. He again announces that he's going to bed and turns out the lights. It's 11:46 p.m.
Anyways, we'll see what we get and if we get anything. So I'll see you in the morning and...
Everything looks normal for roughly 2 minutes until a shadowy movement materializes over by the entertainment center. It's hard to notice even when circled, but when you do see it, it looks way out of place. I don't think it's camera pixelation, because none of the other darker areas of the room are moving like this. And at approximately 2 minutes, a large, lonesome orb floats upwards from that part of the room and disappears. Exactly 10 minutes later, at 2 minutes and 12 seconds, this speaker falls over and lands not too far from where the orb originated from. Obviously, no one is around to knock it over, so if this is fake, how was it done? On October 1st, 2013, Joseph made his final YouTube video, letting everyone know he has moved to a new apartment. He thinks that changing his location has stopped the spirit, but considering it may have attached itself to his girlfriend when she first moved in, I'm not so sure it worked. This part at 4 minutes and 30 seconds further proves my point. It could be his camera making a squeaking noise while being adjusted, but it sounds a lot like the laughter of a small child.
But anyways, let's see if we can do it like this. There we go.
And when you compare it to his normal laugh, it's definitely not the same voice. And that's pretty much the last anyone's ever heard from him. The last update comes from his blog on July 25th, 2014, promising more videos that sadly never came. I don't know what happened to him, no one does, but suddenly dropping off at the height of your fame is not reassuring to say the least, and makes me wonder if something terrible happened. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.